know what happened today? I'm like, no. Selena had a baby in the bathroom in her house. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, the paramedics picked her up and everything. I was like, oh my God, no, I didn't know.
So you didn't know she was...
No, I didn't know. I didn't know.
So no, he got you pregnant. The next thing I heard, all of a sudden, Chewy's, Isabel, Selena had a baby in the bathroom, and he's crying. And I didn't even know, and I was wrestling with her and everything and playing.
She lost out her whole life practically, her whole childhood. She lost out her whole teenagehood, and I really was hoping that wouldn't happen to my son or my daughter because I was a mom at 15. I didn't want her to go through the struggles and everything that we went through, so I told her, you know what, just finish school for us and we'll help you with your son. Don't worry about it. That's what we're here for. And that's how it's done.
We're in the garage where Chewy party, and this was like a network place here. Bunch of people that had problems, and we talked. And also, people got jobs here. Maybe there was a few people that got fired because they didn't go to work, but mostly people got jobs in here. This was like a network place, and this is one place I'm gonna miss a lot. Especially my garage door, that I had a guy, he was a junkie, and look at the beautiful work he could do. I try to help him out a little bit, and I hope I've never seen him again, but I hope he's doing good now in these days. Look how empty it looks. Had a beautiful picnic table up there. Now it's empty. Totally empty.
I struggled with what I wanted to say in this film. I didn't want it to come off as a sob story or inspiring. I literally wanted to share a time in my family's life. See, we are saying goodbye to my childhood home, but we are also celebrating the memories we have here. See, without this house, I wouldn't have this. A gray patch on the back of my head. And even 22 years later, the story of this birthmark can still be felt in this house.
I was 15 years old, and I met my first love, and we both decided to do something foolish that young kids like to do, and that was trying to have sex. And we didn't know what the heck we were doing. So I became pregnant at the age of 15.
She kept buying bigger and bigger shorts, but they were more like sweaters. At that time, they were like pullovers, humongous size. Well, one day I noticed she was laying in bed, and I seen her stomach, and I was like, I rubbed it, and I said, "Are you pregnant?" And she goes, "Oh no, mommy, I'm not." But then I didn't think of it.
I used to go to work early in the morning, and I used to see her exercising like 4:30 in the morning. So that was scary. I thought my daughter was going crazy, or what's going on with her. But then I started getting suspicious. Well, maybe she's pregnant.
Out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Back then in the 90s, we used to wear baggy clothes, baggy jackets. It was pretty easy to hide it. So my parents didn't even realize it because my clothes were always baggied.
All kids, that was when they were wearing the big giant loose pants, big giant loose shirts, and no, we didn't notice because I noticed that she wasn't, we were jogging and exercising and everything, both of us. We thought we were just, at that time she wasn't sure she was pregnant, she just thought she was getting fat.
On October 7, 1993, by then I was 16 years old, I started to feel some stomach pains that morning before having to go to school. And I told my mom I didn't feel well, and she's like,
She wakes up real sick in the morning, and I told her, you know what, you can't go to school. I'm going to take you to see the gynecologist when I get out of work. She said, okay. Apparently, we never made it.
And right away I said, oh, I'm in trouble. So I went all day at home, just in pain and feeling pressure, and I would do everything I could to try to get the pain to go away. I laid in the bathtub in some hot water.
And I came out of work early that day. And what happened is our boyfriend was there. And I got mad. What is he doing here when he should be in school? And you should be in school.
By that point, my dad walked out of the house. My boyfriend was still there, and my dad told me he would have to leave because he was leaving.
And that was kind of a mistake that I did because he left. After he left, your mom had pain in the stomach, which it was you, her water bag broke.
So when I felt that pressure, I decided to push again, and I heard a baby cry.
She was crying, all hysterical, and she was like, Mom, I don't know what to do. Something happened to me. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened to you, Mija? I mean, did somebody break in? Are you hurt? And she says, no, Mom, I just had a baby in the bathroom and I don't know how. And I was like, you don't know how?
So when the ambulance people got there, they attacked me right away and grabbed me and says, listen, your daughter just had a baby, and please do not go off on her by hollering at her because she went through a lot.
So I ran in the house. I seen her, and she, and the paramedic guy was right behind me. And he grabs me. He goes, Mom, don't scream at her, don't spank her, don't do nothing. She's in shock.
There was all kinds of emotions. There were emotions of anger. There was emotions of they were scared that something bad could have happened. There was emotions of, I think everybody was pretty much mostly in shock.
I just looked at her and I said to myself, oh my God, my poor baby, she could have died. And I never even knew she was pregnant.
Hey, Chris, look at this. We're in the public storage. We got 90% of our houses in here. Still got to learn how to open this. Wow, look at all this. Look at all this. All my tools, clothes, pictures, all kinds of stuff are in here. My goodness. That was a lot of work bringing up all this over here. And we got only one little padlock on it. This was the last things actually from my garage that had come back for. And I trespassed to get to this. Now, there's a lot of pictures in here when you were a kid, when you were a baby. That house, we love that house very much. Of course, you were born in that house. And surprisingly, your mom, she did a good job on having you. Most women her age, as a young girl, could have gotten scared and threw you in the alley or did something crazy because they get scared. But she didn't do it, and I'm proud. And I'm proud of having you around my life. And I can't wait to get all this out of here. Find a house that we actually gonna live there for a very, very, very long time. And put everything back the way it's supposed to.
I noticed the birthmark that same day they brought you in the room, and my first instinct as a new mommy was to inspect you, make sure everything looked good on you, and I noticed there was a bruise on the back of your head.
And I noticed the birthmark on his head. I kept looking at it. I said, you know what? We even have the doctor check because we wanted to make sure it wasn't, cancer or something.
I didn't notice about your birthmark till 2 days later, or maybe a day later. They told me, look, he's got your father's birthmark.
So I asked the nurse if that was something normal or what happened, and they pretty much told me that it was a bruise.
But what happened was when she pulled him out, because she had him in the bathroom, he was falling, and she didn't want him to fall inside the toilet bowl, so she grabbed him, and that was her thumbprint, which was pulling him out and picking him up.
So that's pretty much my thumbprint on your back, or on the back of your head. I like to always say that I FDA approved you.
You can't compete with people that have millions of dollars, or they're well off, they're healthy on money, and that money part. And so it was time for me to move out, because I was afraid that with your grandma being sick, not working, her little check that she gets from disability wasn't making her bills. So I saw her, she's depressed. She's not able to save money like she used to. And when I found out that she was using her retirement money to pay bills, that's when I realized it's time for me to cash in on this house. And that's what I've been waiting for.
Because I always thought I was going to live here. Now my grandson was born in my bathroom here. And I would love to have kept it, but me being ill, back and forth, I'm not able to work anymore. So my husband and I, we talked it over, and we said, now it's time to get something smaller. My son got married, it's one less person. So that's why we're doing it, because the taxes are really high over here. But otherwise, I'm happy, but then I'm not at the same time, because we've been here for over 30 years.
Even though some people believe that I should have waited. Yeah, wait for what? What am I going to wait for? Wait for maybe I can't pay my mortgage and then they take the house away from me? No, I'm not going to wait for that. You can't be greedy all the time. Just take the money and run.
Dear old house, this is my final goodbye to you. Sure, we've parted ways before, but it was only temporary. I remember how excited I would get when I would come home from college, and always knowing you were there was comforting to me. Even empty, you still have so much life, and most of all memories. You remain warm and special. I wanted to end this letter by saying thank you. Thank you for 22 great years. Thank you for being a part of the family. And most of all, thank you for my birthmark. As long as I have it, I'll always carry a piece of you with me. Love, Chris.